Hey guys, and welcome back to my React course. This is part 4, and in this part, we'll be getting started with styling in React with CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and it is used to define styles for your websites, including the design, layout, and also variations in display for different devices and screen sizes. Using CSS, you can make what's called a responsive web design. Here's an example. You can see in this picture that the design of this website is different based on the screen size. So for the mobile version, the text size is smaller to fit the screen, and so is the button. Here's another example of CSS in action. Let's say we have a button, and using CSS we can change these properties of that button. For example, the background color, the border color, the font size, and the font color. The list of all the CSS properties you can change on an element is big, and learning all the properties might be helpful, but that's usually unnecessary. So just by designing websites, you might come across a new property and learn about it. Before we get started, this is the final result of what we will be designing. As you can see, it has background colors, some different font colors, a button with border radius properties, and also a background color, and also an image on the right. Now that you know what CSS is and have also seen a couple of examples, let's get into how you can use CSS. So back to our project in VS Code, we're going to create a new folder called components, and it's going to contain all of our reusable components. So let's do that. So on the left, right-click the source folder and create a new folder. Name that folder components. Enter. The first thing we're going to do is move this component we created into the new folder. So you can just drag it over there. Are you sure you want to move this into components? Yes, move. Now as you can see, it's inside that folder. So for now, I'm going to delete everything we have over here. And I'm also going to convert this back to a functional component just because we're not going to use state. So function, first component, brackets, just like that. We're going to return brackets, and then now we're going to create some elements inside it. So first I'm going to start off with some containers, just so we can organize this code. So a div tag, and then these elements actually have properties that you can use. You can set these properties on the first tag, so the starting tag, right after the name. You're going to press space and then the name of that property. So one of the properties is called class name. As you can see, it's an attribute. So class name equals some quotes, and then you type the class name over here. And then when we create a CSS file, we can use that class name to add styles to this. So for now, we're just gonna do container, because this is gonna be the container for the whole component. And also I forgot to delete this, so let's do that now. And we're not going to need components, so let's delete that, leave React. And then inside these tags, I'm going to enter and create 2 more tags. So div, outside of that, another div. So the first one, the class name is going to be left. So we're going to organize this into 2 sections, left and right. The left one's going to contain all of our headings and the paragraph, the button, and then the right one is just gonna contain the image. So inside the left one, we're gonna do a simple h1. H1 is gonna have a class name of heading. So right now we're not writing anything, we're just organizing everything. And then this is a new tag that we're gonna learn. It's just simple p. It stands for paragraph. So paragraph tag. Class name is going to be paragraph. As you can see, I'm using meaningful words. So the heading is just class name heading. Left, right section, the whole container. And then also below the paragraph, this is also a new element. It's just button, simply button. This is how you can create a button. This is going to have a class name of button. And then between these tags, you can type the text of that button. So get started And then for the heading, I'm not going to type anything for now. We're not going to worry about what's actually here. We're just going to worry about CSS. And then I have some example text over here that I copied. So let's just do that. And then, as I said, for the right section, we can go inside that. This is also a new element, so it's img, short for image. And then if you have two tags and you're not going to write something inside those tags, like a text value, like right here. Now for an image, this makes sense because what do you want to write inside the image? It doesn't make sense. What you're going to do is delete the closing tag. And it's not going to let you do this. It's going to give you an error. And then right after the second one, the greater than sign, you're going to add a /. Going to take away the errors. This is a self-closing tag, so you don't need two tags to close it. So normally we have a starting tag and then a closing tag. This is a self-closing tag. You're going to add all the attributes over here, and you don't need anything else. So this, we're going to add a class name to it. This is going to be simple class name image. And this is also another new attribute. It's called src. It's specific to images. It's short for source. So the source of this image. Now we don't have an image set up in this folder yet. But I do have this image that I found. I'm going to open it. As you can see, simple image that I'm going to put on the website. So any image you have, you can simply just drag and drop it from your folder. And then you're going to put it in the public folder. Make sure it's in the public one. And then if the name is something long and random, you can just rename it over here. I have it set up as home image. And then we go back over here. The source, it's simply going to be home image.svg. Now this may be different for you. Mine, the name is home image. The file extension is svg. Yours may be something .jpg, something .png. It doesn't matter. And then also another one is going to be another attribute. It's alt. So this is also specific to images. Alt is when the source is not found. So when you don't have a file inside this folder named home image, what it's going to do, it's going to show a text they couldn't put in here. So the source, I'm just going to do home image. And now we're done with the elements and we're done with this component setting up. What we're going to do is inside the components folder, we're going to create a new file. The name is going to be the exact same thing, but .css. Instead of JS, it's going to be CSS. So enter. This is where we're going to do all our designing. So for now, we can save this. And also, we can import that. So import. You're going to have some quotes, any type of quotes, double, single, does not matter. Period, /, that means it's in the same folder. If this was over here, if it was one folder outside, you'd do 2 periods. And if it's one inside, you're going to do this, like that. But if it's in the same, you just need period and a /. And then the name. So first, component.css. So Control S, save. Now we're going to go back over here. So first, let's type :root. And then you're going to add some curly braces, enter. Over here, we're going to define all of the colors we're going to use. So I'll do that right now, and I'll be back. So now I'm done defining all of the colors. Just make sure when you're defining the colors, before the name of the color you're going to set up, you're going to have 2 dash, double dash right here, and then just the name, which is, for the first one is background color, :, and then you're going to have the actual color code. So it's going to be, for me, it's this blue color for the background. For the heading, I have it white. For the paragraph, I have this gray color. For the button background, I have it a yellow color. For the button text, I have it a black color. So after that, we can use these colors instead of copying this color codes over and over again, which is way more helpful. So first, we're going to set up the container. So .container. You start all of the classes with dot and then the name of the class that you're going to design. So dot container space curly braces, enter. So the first thing we're going to do, the background color of this, the background color of the container is just the background color right here. So if you type the name of the variable, it's just going to show you it. It's going to auto-complete it if you enter. This is how you set it up if you don't have an auto-complete. So VAR, short for variable, 2 parentheses, and then the name, exact name of the color. So including the dash. And then after that, I'm gonna have a height of, we'll do 600 pixels for now. And then next we're gonna set up the left container. So again, period, name of the class, space, curly braces, enter. So this makes sense. The width is gonna be 50% of this container. So left is gonna be 50%. And then we're gonna have dot right, space, enter. This is also going to be 50%. And then for both, let's just make sure their heights are 100%. If you don't do this, it might be shorter than that. So for these two containers, that's all we need. But we're going to come back to this shortly. This container, that's going to have a problem. I'll tell you in a bit. And then next, we're going to have the heading. So dot heading. So the color, you have background color and then just color. You don't have anything like text color. That's the simple color that you have. So color equals, that's gonna be the heading color. It's gonna auto-complete it for me. The font size, 48 pixels. And then we're gonna add some margin to it. We're going to add margin to all of it. I'm also going to add some padding to the top so it doesn't stick to the container. The padding, that should be good. And then next, we'll move on to paragraph. Again, color is going to be paragraph color. Font size, we're going to do smaller than the heading, of course. Margin left, again, same thing. Margin left is gonna be 160 again. And then we're gonna add some padding to the top. So we're not gonna do the same as this because it's gonna be way further. So that should be good for the paragraph for now. And then the second last thing, which is the button. Now this is gonna be a big one. So first, background color. Start with the simple things. We're gonna do button background color. The text color of it is gonna be the button text color. So as I said, background color is the background. Just a simple color stands for the text color. It's gonna have no borders because if you use the original button element without creating your own, which is not that easy. So if you just use this way of creating a button, it's going to have borders and some other stuff on it. We're just going to delete all of that. So first, border none. We're going to add a width of 170 pixels. We're going to add a height of 50 pixels. Font size is going to be, we'll do a bit bigger than the paragraph, but not way bigger. So 20 pixels. The font weight, this is how, if it's going to be bold or not. So you can do either a number. So if you click Control and space, it's going to show you all of the autocomplete options. So if I click that, on Windows it's Control and space, on Mac it's Command and space. These are all of the autocomplete options you can put for font weight. As I said, you can have up to 900 number, or you can do it in words, bold, bolder, lighter, normal. And then you have these other stuff that we're not going to talk about for now. So we're going to do the boldest thing, bolder. And then, again, margin top is going to be 30 pixels. And then margin left is going to be 160 pixels. So for now, we're not going to do the image. The first thing I'm going to do is just go to terminal, new terminal. Again, just npm start. This is going to open your browser. So let's give it some time to do that. So I got an error. It says can't resolve first component in this. So I figured we forgot to, when we created this new folder, we forgot to update the imports. So instead of in the same folder first component, as I said, it's going to be one more folder, components, or sorry, you can just do slash components slash first component. So this should work. And then now back to our, if you reload it, as you can see, this is what we see for now. So as you can see, the image is actually on the bottom. So we go back over here to the CSS file. We can close the app.js. Let's just add some background color to these so we can tell them apart. So I'll do green for this. For the right side, I'll do background color red. Okay, so if I save it, it's not the way we want it. So we have the left over here. That's where it should be. But then we have the right container. The right container. We don't want it to be below the left one. We want it to be right beside the left one. So to fix this, you got to go to the container, the first container, not the left, not the right. And you're going to add this attribute to it. So it's called display flex. Instead of doing it vertically, it's going to list things horizontally. So if I save this, as you can see, now it's perfect. We can change, let's change back the background colors first, actually. Delete those, just like that. I'll add some styles to the image so it's not this big. So we're going to go all the way bottom, dot image, curly braces, enter. So for the width, if you do, you don't have to do width and height. So it's going to keep the aspect ratio unless you add some setting. So if you just do the width, it's going to be automatically, it's not going to show it, but it's automatically width, height 50% too. If you do 60%, height is 60% too. You don't have to add both. So if you just do width, if I save it, it's going to be a lot smaller. That's good. And then we're also going to adding top. It's going to be the same as the other one. So aligns 144. And then the margin left, 320. Now when I save it, everything should be in place. And we also forgot to add some border radius to this. It's going to look a bit nicer. It's going to have rounded borders. So let's go back to the button. Anywhere you want. We're going to add border radius. We're not going to do a lot. 10 pixels should be enough. As you can see, it's going to give that rounded effect. So that'll be it for this video. If you learned something, don't forget to like. And I'll see you next time. Bye.